As you probably know, I don't have a niche. I just talk about whatever comes to mind, to be honest. And today I was thinking about the turn of events that has occurred in my career. So, I'm not sure where I want to begin with this. I could have very easily went a totally different path. It's because I'm a planner. I had everything mapped out from a very young age of how I wanted my career to look, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, the steps I was going to take to get there. And I did. I planned it all out. I did exactly what I was supposed to do in high school, and then it came time for graduation. And I'm like, still on the path in my head. I'm just taking a gap year because I was very burnout. To be honest, I was tired of, I know I know I shouldn't compare high school to working. It's nowhere near working a 9 to 5, obviously. But since I was taking so many college courses, it kind of felt like it just because it took so much time. I didn't know how to balance anything. I'm somebody in the academic field that I'm not going to enter it unless I can fully excel. I was like, okay, I'm not going to enter college with such a burnt out mind. So much stuff happened over the summer. Obviously, you guys know my dad passed away. I keep bringing that up because had he not passed away, I wouldn't have learned this lesson, A, and B, I would have been in college by now. I would be broke. I would be probably living in a dorm or student housing. I would be trying to make ends meet while I'm studying. I'm just talking about myself and how my own psyche responds to college. I don't know anybody else who reacts to the school environment with panic like I do. Just like, oh my God, I gotta get all this done and I have to get an A and blah, 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 right? So I'm not speaking for everybody here, obviously, but I'm speaking on my own experience because I know other people can relate. I obviously was planning to become some sort of criminal psychologist, criminal profiler. I don't know why I said obviously, like you guys would know that. I don't know why you would know that, but that's, I should tell you, that was the plan. I planned everything around that. Every college course, every workshop that I attended in the summer, books I've read, YouTube videos I watched. You get the drift. My life was centered around accomplishing that. As I got closer and closer to actually applying to college after the gap year, I realized this is getting a little bit real. This is getting actually very real because I started looking up of being a criminal profiler. Like, okay, what does this career field actually do? And can I work immediately after I graduate with a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in criminal justice or whatever the plan was? The answer was uncertain. Not only was it uncertain, it was leaning towards no. You would have to get your master's and then maybe even go on and get your doctorate. And I'm sitting here like, no. No. I can't do that. I don't know why that like made my brain shut down. I don't know. I'm like, I cannot. I'm already getting a late start as it is, which I'm so glad I took a gap year, but still, I'm not going to college 18 anymore. I'm going to college 19 and a half. So I'm already getting a late start as it is. You're telling me I need to have 5 more years of education? Like, I can't do it. Physically and mentally, I can't do it because I knew I would have to be working along being in college because, I want certain things. I didn't want to live in a dorm or student housing the whole time. I wanted to get my own apartment. And I'm like, I can't see myself having all these deadlines. And I know I've been in college. I took mainly college courses my last 2 years of high school. And I wasn't even looking to get my degree in high school. I mean, I was close to getting my associates, but I had already gotten just a little taste of college. And I'm like, okay, I know the time commitment is a lot, to say the least. And I know how I am with balancing things. I know that I don't really prioritize things 50-50. It's usually one or the other. So I was like, okay, I can't see myself doing this yet again. I knew how overwhelmed I was in high school, and I'm like, when I planned out this career field for myself, I'm just telling you guys, I was in a different state of mind, A, and B, I wasn't really in the real world yet. I wasn't really that concerned. Obviously, both my parents were still alive then. I wasn't concerned with money. Now, I'm still not concerned with money, but I'm focusing on money. I now realize how important it is, but you know what I mean? A little bit immature, obviously. I still don't think 15-year-olds should have that pressure to make right as you get into high school, like, let's map out your career. It's kind of weird, like, how premature you are and then you're making all those decisions. Like, it's just weird. But anyway, I'm not sure how I expected this to work out so smoothly when that's who was making the decision. So, I don't know. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is when I made this decision, super immature. Obviously, I still have a lot of developing to do. But back then, very immature in the sense that I would make decisions and I would make decisions to prove to other people that I was intelligent. Really? Like, honestly, I'm at the point now, like, who cares? I just want to live the life I want to live. I was very externally focused. My motives for doing things were different. And yet again, I was not focused on making money or how I actually wanted my life to look like. So I started looking up just this past few months, what does a criminal profiler do day in life? And I found a few women and men that were talking about their experiences and how it's actually quite traumatic being a criminal profiler at times, because you have to analyze horrific evidence, you have to hear about these tragic stories. And it dawned on me, why do I get this urge to switch my career? Why do I feel like I have nothing in common with my past self that was so academic and made this decision? It was like, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be forever in school and I love education and I love these institutions and people telling me when to turn in my work and no work-life balance. Why I love that and why I used to fit into that mold is because I was a stress addict. I was literally addicted to stress. And I'm not kidding. Not kidding. Was obsessed with it. It was my lifeline. A lot of people ask me, I'm flipping subjects for a little bit to give you guys a parallel. Why do I feel tired when I take a certain vitamin? Vitamin B6 is one of these vitamins, by the way, that will make some people feel tired. I usually ask them, are you an anxious person? And that's when they say yes. That's why I'm taking vitamin B6 to balance my neurotransmitters. And I'll say the reason why you feel tired is because sometimes your anxiety and stress, caffeine, that keeps you up, it keeps you alert. Once you take your anxiety away, you realize that underneath that you're chronically fatigued mentally and physically, and obviously emotionally. After the stress was out of my life, after I balanced myself and got myself to mentally a very good state, I realized that I didn't want to live a stressful life anymore. So that's what prompted me to completely change my career field. But as I gave you the entire long backstory, hopefully I didn't bore you, but it's, you know, I have an extensive past of being addicted to stress, and just these past couple of years, I've gotten out of it, and I felt like I needed to make such a dramatic shift to another career field because I realized I don't like to be stressed anymore. And I also realized I want my net worth to be much, much higher than a psychologist, which is not a dig at psychologists at all. Not a dig. Because I think psychologists are so incredibly needed by society, and I can't stress it enough. But I just, not even in the greedy way, but had a need for more. Also, I want to add in here, I knew that there were going to be stressful and emotional parts of criminal profiling. I researched that and researched that over and over. The only thing was, back then I didn't care. I didn't care how it would affect my psyche. I didn't care how it would affect my own mental health, because I didn't care about myself back then. I didn't care about myself at all. Now that I care about myself a lot, it caused me to rethink, and I'm like, no, I don't want to sacrifice my emotional health for a career field. I'm not doing that. I've watched enough people in my family, particularly leading back to my dad again, do the exact same thing. My perception of time is different also. I don't think it's worth it for me to spend many years in college. I don't think that would be a good, it may be for others, but I don't think it's a good use of my time right now when I could be making money, when I could be making money in another creative way and helping people in another way. Because I was attracted to the aspect of criminal profiling so that I could, catch these bad guys and help society. Right? That's what I wanted to do. And I started this YouTube channel with the sole intention, and still the sole intention, of helping other people. However, I now realize that I was attracted to career fields where I was helping other people, but at what cost? At what sacrifice to myself? Now I don't make self-sacrifices. I feel like that's just weird in general. That's something a stress addict would do. So I'm like, no, I can't do that to myself anymore. I want to live a more relaxing life, and I will find other ways to help people. And I'll leave you with this one example. We were trying to sell my sister's car, her beat down old 2005 Nissan. So we were trying to sell that, and my mom says, well, on this website it says it's only worth $300. I said, $300? That's literally an iPod Touch. It's not worth $300. It's at least worth $500. And I'm not a car salesman, but it was worth $500. It was worth about $1,000. But nevertheless, I kept telling her, no, you're wrong. It's worth $500. You need to sell it at that price. She didn't listen. So she went on this donation site. She said, I really want to donate it. I really want to give it to this one donation. I said, okay, you can donate it. Just make sure that they give you the money for what it's actually worth. She said, I don't know. She kept having problems with them. They said, okay, we'll tow your car, this day, and they wouldn't show up, or they just kept going back and forth with her. It was kind of getting sketchy at this point. So I said, I'll take a couple pictures, I'll clean it up, I will sanitize the car, wash it, you work on, I forget honestly what we even need to work on. So anyway, we get it all fixed up, and I put it on Facebook Marketplace. And finally, after like 20 people, not even 20, probably 30 to 50 people reaching out to me about it, wanting to buy it, I didn't really get many serious offers other than one man. And that one man, he had a date that he wanted to come look at it. He said, I'm going to bring the cash, $500 it is, and I'm going to help you, because it was actually stuck in our barn. Clearly, we don't know what we're doing with cars. Anyways, that's a long story in itself. We could not get it out. Couldn't push it out of the car. So he was out of the barn. So he said he was going to help us with that, tow it, and give us the $500. So I said, oh my God, thank you, for all your help. So he showed up at the very time that he said he would. He was very punctual, called me beforehand, let me know where he was coming from, how long it would take him to get there. Very just on it, right? He comes to our house. He gives me the $500, which I later gave to my mom. He says, I'm donating this car to a family across the street from me that is having a very hard time right now. And my mom just goes like, and I said, I'm telling you, there's another way to help people other than self-sacrifice. In her case, it was selling the car for a lower price than what it was worth. That was her self-sacrifice. In your case, it's probably something different. But I told her, I said, you can get something for you and help somebody else at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So that was the lesson for me switching career fields, was I don't have to sacrifice my own mental health in a tough, roughed up career field for the sake of helping society. I can help society in another way.